binomial?
3.
Binomial, 2 terms, times trinomial, 3 terms. This is the most common. You can also do this for any polynomial times any polynomial. Again, foiling is recommended because it's a little less work. Just in the fact you have to draw a grid for the grid. And in the FOIL, you don't have to draw a grid. So it's a little less work. Not much, but a little. The basic idea behind this is still that we are distributing. Basic idea is we are distributing. So to draw a grid, you need to first identify how many terms are in each polynomial. Count. For example, if this is your problem, 2x plus 5 times x squared minus 4x plus 3. If this is your problem, you identify that how many terms are in this first polynomial. How many pieces make it up? 2, it's a binomial. And how many are in this polynomial? 3. So it's a 2 by 3 grid. There are 2 terms because it's a binomial, and there are 3 terms because it's a trinomial. It's a 2 by 3 grid. After you identify how many terms there are, you're going to draw the grid. And in this case, it's a 2 by 3. I'm going to skip 4 lines and draw it down here so we can have room to work. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you draw your grid. It's going to be 2 tall and 3 long. And you want enough room to write in there, so don't make it tiny. Two by 3. Could you draw it this way, vertically? 2 by 3? Yes, it doesn't matter. As long as it's 2 by 3. 2 terms and 3 terms. Step 3. Write the polynomials above and beside the grid. I wonder what that means. Write the polynomials above and beside the grid. Corbin, what do you think?
For the binomial, you put one term in one for one row, and the next one for the next row, and then you do the same thing for the column.
Perfect. Corbin said for the binomial 2x plus 5, you're going to put one term, 2x, in one row. And you're going to put the second term, positive 5. You don't need the plus, I like to put it, and the other one. How come I chose to put the binomial here? Angelina, why did the binomial go vertical in this grid? Yeah, there are 2 squares. I wouldn't put it up here because there'd be a leftover. And then for the 3 terms, that's where I put my trinomial. I'm going to add in a 1x squared. Then my second term is what? Negative 4x. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the biggest mistake people make. They forget their signs. And the last term is positive 3. Have you in science done Punnett squares yet?
Yes.
To find genetics?
Yes.
This is like a Punnett square. And then step number 4 is to multiply. Then we will simplify. All right, here we go. For this box, I'm going to do 2x times 1x squared. So we multiply our coefficients. 2 times 1 is 2. And x times x squared is x to the 3rd. Then I'm going to fill in this box. And this box is 5 times 1x squared. 5 times 1 is 5. And there's an x squared that I add on to the end. I'm going to move to this box. 2x times negative 4x. What's 2 times negative 4? Negative 8. And x times x is x squared. Samantha, you're behind on our notes. Get caught up. 5 times negative 4. 5 times negative 4. Negative 20 with an x. Corbin. 2x times 3. 6 with an x. And 3 times 5. We have 6 terms. Can any of them be combined? You typically look diagonal to see if anything can be combined. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. All right, let's write our answer. What's the biggest term? 2x to the 3rd. Five x squared minus 8x squared. Negative 3x squared. Negative 20x plus 6x. And 15. What do you put? Plus 15. And there's your answer. What, Sam? These two? Because they can't be combined. They don't have any like terms. These two I circled together because they're like terms. These two I circled together because they're like terms. Typically, I'm not saying every time, you guys. Sometimes you end up with the diagonals not being able to combine. Let's do one more problem. Ready? What if I gave you this problem? What is my first step? Keegan? I'd write it out 3 times. And then we're going to chunk it together. We're going to break it up into pieces. I'm going to cover up one piece. How could you do this problem?
Foil.
You could foil it. If you wanted to, you could draw a grid. What would your grid be? 2 by 2. It doesn't matter. Both will work. If neither of those work, can you just double distribute and write the big long line? Yes. All three ways will give you the same answer. I'm going to foil it. First, 1 times 1. Outside, 1 times negative x. Negative 1x. Inside, negative 1x times 1. Negative 1x. And last, negative x times negative x. Positive x squared. Why positive? 2 negatives make a positive. Am I finished? The middle two combine to make what? Negative 2x. And last but not least, I write my answer. I like to write it how? In order, standard form. X squared minus 2x plus 1. Am I finished with my problem? Is that my answer? No, because now I have to take this answer and multiply it by what? 1 minus x. I'm going to draw a grid. How big should my grid be? 2 by 3 or 3 by 2, however you want to make it. What goes on top?
X squared minus 2x.
I'm going to put 1x squared because I like to put those ones in there. What goes in the next one?
Minus 2x.
Minus 2x. And what goes in the last one? Plus 1. What goes vertically? 1 minus, and I'm going to put 1x. I need coefficients to do my math properly. All right, let's multiply. 1 times 1 is 1 with an x squared. Let's go down below. 1 times negative 1, negative 1, and x times x squared is x to the third. Let's go to this box. 1 times negative 2, negative 2, x. Negative 2x times negative 1x, positive 2x squared. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times negative 1, x, negative 1x. Let's look diagonally. Can anything simplify? 1x squared and 2x squared can go together. And negative 2x and negative 1x. Write it in our standard notation. What comes first? Negative 1x to the third.
Plus 3x squared.
Why plus 3x?
It's positive.
Because it's positive. 1 plus 2 is 3x squared. Then
Negative 3x.
negative 3x, positive 1. That's your final answer. Ladies and gentlemen, you can FOIL, you can distribute, you can use the grid. What works for you? Well, foiling only works on binomial times a binomial. Questions? Comments?